Our home. We spend a lot of time, money, and effort to make it the safest place on earth for the most precious of reasons. But hiding behind closed doors and even in plain sight are potential dangers to your health and the environment. The dangers are in products we use every day: cleaners, paints, bleach, hazardous household chemicals, and the waste they leave behind. What makes a household product hazardous? How can we keep our homes and the environment safe? I'm Jean Ponzi with Missouri Botanical Garden's EarthWays Center in St. Louis. Join me for the next 30 minutes as we investigate many ways to detox your domicile. Welcome to the Clemens household in South St. Louis.
It's pretty.
Mary and Rick Clemens bought their home 13 years ago, and they've worked hard to bring their 19th century treasure up to current safety standards. That work included removing lead paint and windows following a lead poisoning scare with one of their daughters.
I consider it pretty safe. Since the girls have, they're not toddlers anymore, we don't lock up the cleaning supplies like we did when they were little, now that, they're a little bit smarter about things. Yeah, I feel like we have a pretty safe home.
Life with 4 young daughters keeps the Clemens family busy, and this old house requires a lot of cleaning and upkeep. So Mary, here we are in the kitchen. Where is your stuff?
Probably where everybody keeps it, Jean. Right under my sink.
Let's have a look.
Okay.
Uh-huh. That's what I would expect to see under somebody's sink, is some cleaning things, some glass things, some bleach, some cleanser. Pretty normal assortment of household cleaning products. Mm-hmm. Well, when you are in the store aisle and you're looking for these things for the kinds of uses that you mentioned, do you make any decisions based on product safety?
No, not really.
The average homeowner has as much as 100 pounds of hazardous household product in their basement, garage, and storage closets. A hazardous household product is one whose use or disposal poses a threat to our health or the environment. Because I can tell there's something back there that's been there for a really long time. Now, how would you normally dispose of something like this when you get around to it?
Probably we would take that and throw it right into the trash can.
Household hazardous waste is the leftover or unwanted hazardous product we throw away. Americans generate 1.6 million tons of household hazardous waste each year. Mary, is there any place else in your house where you store cleaning products or other kinds of maintenance products?
Yes, down in the basement.
Let's go down there.
Okay. So, Jean, here's our basement.
Uh-huh. Looks like the average family's basement. There's some play areas and some storage areas. Looks pretty comfy and fun down here.
Yeah, we like it. Girls have fun down here.
Do you store household products that might be hazardous in the basement?
Yes, we do. We have a couple of places. Over by the wash machine, of course, I have my detergent, fabric softener, I have some ammonia and bleach for different cleaning needs. Over in this room over here, I have my bulk items that I might buy more than one of, especially if I get it on sale at a deal. And then back in the corner over here, I have the paint supplies from, a lot of them are still from the rehab 12 years ago, in all honesty. We've got a lot of paints.
Yeah, you do have a lot of stuff stored here. So is safety and product handling a factor when you decide where to store these kinds of things in your basement?
On a level of keeping them out of the way of the children and the play areas, not stacking them so they're falling all over each other. We try to keep things stacked as tidy as we can. That would probably be the extent of how much we worry about the safety of the products.
As the Clemens family is learning, there's a lot involved in detoxing their domicile. So many chemicals, so much information to keep track of, and it's so important. We need some expert advice. So I'm here in our special detox lab in St. Louis with Marcus Rivas of the U.S. EPA. Hi, Marcus. Thanks for talking to us today.
Great. Thanks for having me.
What makes a product hazardous?
At the Environmental Protection Agency, we basically split it into 4 different groups. And those will be ignitables, reactives, explosives, corrosive, or toxic. And so we'll take a quick look at some examples of each one. The first group we have here are things that are ignitable. They catch on fire very easily. And you'll see that some of these things, yeah, of course,
Well,
lighter fluid, exactly, that we think of when things burn. But there are also things like isopropyl alcohol.
Wow.
Carburetor cleaner is very flammable.
And right on the label here it says, warning, extremely flammable, contents under pressure. That's very obvious.
Right, so that's the first group of things that'll catch on fire very easily. The next group, and I really want to put some special attention on this one, these are the groups of things that are explosive or reactive. That means they'll make a harmful gas, either on their own or when they mix with something else. Let's spend a second on that mixing. Bleach. Bleach by itself is a really nasty chemical because it'll produce a chlorine gas. But if you mix it with something like ammonia or even something as simple as vinegar, it'll make even more of that gas. So we really want to be careful. Never mix bleach with anything but water.
That's very important because so many people have bleach and use bleach around the house.
Exactly. So we really want to make them think about sort of the risk that they're picking up when they're using something like bleach. What happens when you're using that bleach, or especially if you're mixing it, which you shouldn't do, is you're developing a gas that goes into your lungs. It breaks apart the water molecules because your body's pretty moist on the inside. Breaks those apart, which actually makes an acid, which starts eating up in your lungs.
That hurts just thinking about it.
That's absolutely right.
What's this category of
This
product?
category is the corrosives, things that'll just kind of eat things up, dissolve, if you will. If you
Well,
would get this on metal.
Drain clogs,
That's it exactly.
gunk in your oven.
Yeah, it's literally burning it away, and that's what it's going to do. That's what a corrosive is it's going to burn it. If you get it on you, that's something that you're usually just going to have to get off your skin as quickly as possible, washing it off, flushing it off.
What about toxic? What about poisonous substances?
Great. That toxic group is, like you say, poisonous. Things like air fresheners are common examples of those. The other thing with toxics is that they don't always have just the short-term effects like something like an air freshener. They can also have longer-term health effects, things that could cause cancer or cause organ failure or something of that with continued exposure or usage. So it's not just a matter of what is this one dose going to be like, but what is it over time? Exactly.
There are certain occupations that I used to do that I can no longer because they interfere with my ability to breathe.
Alicia Green has asthma. Although doctors have never directly confirmed her suspicions, she feels certain her medical condition was caused by a bad experience with an oven cleaner.
I was a landscaper and apartment cleaner in North St. Louis City, and I was using what I found out was an industrial oven cleaner. This was a very dirty oven, very filthy stove, grease about this thick off the top. And so about 15 minutes in to using this cleaner, I began to feel uncomfortable. There was a little tightness in my chest. And what I commonly tell people was, I'm a single person. I had 2 kids at that time at home, and somebody had to make the money. So since they were in school, that meant I had to keep a job. About 30 minutes in, I was more than uncomfortable. My hands were burning, my arms were burning through the rubber. And I said, okay, I didn't know. My chest was, it was like someone had taken Tabasco sauce and habanero peppers, squeezed the juice and the seeds down my throat and lit a match. It literally felt like I was burning from the inside out.
Despite her extreme reaction to the oven cleaner, Alicia was afraid to ask for help. She finally saw a doctor nearly 3 weeks after the incident. That's when she was diagnosed with asthma.
Hi, this is Julie. I'm a pharmacist at the Poison Center. May I help you?
This is one of many calls Julie Weber will answer today at the Poison Control Center. She and other workers at the center are trained to handle emergency calls from the entire state of Missouri. This Poison Control Center handles 127,000 calls each year. That's approximately 500 calls a day. Questions or problems regarding analgesics or medicines are their most common calls, followed by personal care products and then cleaning substances.
Usually the majority of our calls for poisonings are on pediatric patients, so that's about 59% of our calls, and that's children, say, 1 to 5 years of age. And it's that 18-month-old group that they want to pick it up and ingest it. So it's that they would maybe see you're cleaning with a product and spraying the table and the phone or the doorbell rings. You walk away, they grab the bottle and they spray it into their mouth or suck on the container.
Julie urges everyone to call Poison Control if they have any doubt about a toxic exposure.
Do you know which WD-40 they used?
All cases remain confidential. And although they receive thousands of calls, the majority are low-level, short-term exposures. Only 10% end up at the hospital, with the rest being advised in their home.
No, they really shouldn't hesitate to call. Really, if anything, it reassures them that it's not going to be a problem, or what it is, again, to watch for if it is going to be maybe some symptoms, but not that serious.
While most cases may not be that serious, Alicia Green's toxic incident took her life in a new direction. She now works as a clean air hotline operator and does public speaking about the dangers of hazardous household chemicals.
You know, it's quite serious. What we are doing to our environment and what we don't know about what we're doing could kill us.
Stores today are stocked with hundreds of products that can clean our ovens, take the spots out of our carpets, keep the bugs out of our homes. There's no doubt that modern cleaning products can make our lives easier, but did you know that a lot of these products contain potentially harmful ingredients, poisons, skin and eye irritants, substances that can catch fire or even explode? So, how does a smart consumer make the right choice to keep your home safe and healthy? Start by reading the label. The first thing I look for when evaluating a product is the signal words on the front of the label. Warning, caution, danger, or poison will be printed very prominently on the front of the box or the front of the label. Then, look at the back of the label for more specific information. If this product can irritate eyes or skin or is poisonous if someone accidentally swallows it, there'll be specific information about how to react to those situations. There'll also be information about safe disposal. This is information you need to be able to know and evaluate and find quickly. Another thing to think about is, what do you want a particular product to do? Choosing a good all-purpose cleaner is probably a smarter move than buying a lot of specialized products that will cost more and may have more hazardous properties. And again, check the label for that signal word. Caution indicates a slightly less hazardous product than one that says danger or warning. So, laundry and dishwashing products, metal polishes, air fresheners, all-purpose cleaners of all kinds, so many different choices and a lot of hazardous ingredients. You know, you can make up some safer alternatives, but you won't find the ingredients for them in this aisle. In the baking aisle, you'll find baking soda, which does everything from freshen your carpets to cleaning your toilets. And right next to the baking soda is cornstarch, which will help lift stains from carpet and upholstery. Don't forget to pick up some table salt. It's an effective metal polisher. Vinegar mixes with borax for your laundry or baking soda for a household cleaner. And fresh lemons. Mix their juice with olive oil to polish your furniture and use them to freshen the air naturally. We're back in the Detox Lab in St. Louis to learn about some safer alternatives to hazardous household products with Dr. Detox, Marcus Rivas. What do you got on the recipe today?
What we're going to do right now, Jean, is we're going to do a couple things that folks can do at home that are safer alternative cleaners. By safer alternatives means that there's less risk there. The compounds aren't as toxic, ignitable, corrosive, whatever those words we learned just a little bit earlier. So the first one I want to make is what we call the clean air cleaner. And this is a product that anyone can make. It's stuff that you have around the home right now.
Multi-purpose cleaner.
What we're going to do is we're going to use some vinegar, some borax, and some dish soap and water. Everyone has those around the house. We'll take about 2 teaspoons of vinegar, that was 2 tablespoons of vinegar, a couple teaspoons of the borax. We keep this stuff mixing the whole time we're doing it. About a tablespoon of dish soap. Mix that in, and then, like I say, just keep mixing it the whole time we're doing it. And then hot water. It's really best to use hot water on this because it'll make it mix up a lot easier. Let's take a look at one other thing we can make very quickly here. Again, we're going to use some simple ingredients, a little cream of tartar, some baking soda, and a little bit of vinegar. On this one, you can make this and then just keep it right by the sink.
Now, what is this going to be a cleaning product for?
This is going to be a great scrubbing agent. So anytime you need a mild abrasive, this is what you can use. You take, a little bit of baking soda, a little bit of cream of tartar. Actually, I have a lot of cream of tartar there, so I can add a little more baking soda to it.
So you can store this and have some on hand to use whenever you have a gunked up pan or oven perhaps, or...
Right. So you've got this powder, and then what you do is when you've got the thing that needs to be cleaned, you just take a little of it, you put in a drop of vinegar. That foaming's okay. But that's what then you can make the paste of and rub it into the things. Let's take a look at this pan over here.
How about some egg casserole, Marcus?
Okay. We just scrub away, and you can see that without a lot of scrubbing effort, we're really starting to pick up and remove that dried on gunky egg, and there it is.
Nothing toxic, nothing smelly, nothing burning your hands.
Didn't have to use gloves or anything to make that work.
Now, I've heard that baking soda can clean everything. That is a pretty tall order, pretty tall claim for one kind of household product. What is it that makes baking soda so multi-purposely useful?
Great question. We do say that baking soda can clean everything. I've got a demonstration set up here under the microscope. Again, I took just a little bit of baking soda, put it on a slide here, and what we'll do is, how about come and take a look over here, and as you can see, it's all set up for you.
Tiny little crystals.
Yeah, those tiny little crystals are what's going to be scraping away at what's down there, wherever your gunk is that needs to be cleaned.
So it's not really a fine powder, it's really a
Lots of little crystals, right.
Wow.
Here, let's take an even closer look. And you can start to see those crystals even better. And you can see that they have edges on them so that they can go in there and just literally shear away at whatever it is you're trying to clean up.
Look out, gunk, here comes baking soda.
And it cleans everything.
These cars are not part of a typical St. Louis traffic jam, and these men in white suits have nothing to do with a terrorist threat. Instead, all these people are here to responsibly deal with their household hazardous waste.
My name is Laura Yates with St. Louis County Health Department, and this is our spring household chemical collection event. We've been doing household chemical collection events since 1998. We've actually held 44 events since that time and collected nearly 4 million pounds of material from households in St. Louis County.
Although there are no laws requiring individuals to separate these items from regular trash and use environmentally safe disposal methods, more and more residents are willing to line up for the chance to unload their potentially dangerous household chemicals. Workers from Onyx Environmental are handling these materials. They'll be consolidated and shipped off to various other facilities where waste items will be recycled or blended for energy recovery.
We try to provide a safe, convenient collection service because there are many people who still improperly dispose of their materials down the sinks, in the trash or down storm sewers, and those lead directly to our streams. And we don't want that to create an unhealthy situation for our residents or our environment.
This facility is the newest addition to St. Charles County's recycling program. Recycle Works Central is a permanent facility where residents can bring their household chemicals and other waste. and where trained workers handle the hazards.
This is a killer. This is a pesticide, so it's got to go out separately.
John Fumagalli and his team carefully sort and separate the items in this waste stream.
When it's something that we don't know, we'll put them in containers like here, and we have a chemist come out to check them out so that we don't, we won't get hurt messing with something that we're unsure of. We'll only do what we know, and it's a learning process. To reduce cost on all the flammables, we actually puncture them and capture all the liquid, then crush the cans, recycle the cans, and use the liquid as our fuel blend.
Hazardous materials are bulked. Some are dumped into 55-gallon barrels like these. The barrels are then placed in this $50,000 storage building that has its own fire protection system, along with auto ventilation, blowout panels, grounding wires, and a floor specially designed to self-contain any spills. Like St. Louis County, St. Charles County contracts with a waste transportation company to pick up all these hazards and take them to be recovered, recycled, or safely destroyed. The safety of workers, residents, and the environment is the top priority.
Absolutely. We track how many inquiries we get every year, and just last year alone we've handled between, I would say, 5,000 and 7,500 inquiries just on hazardous waste and recycling. So not only are people aware, but they understand the value of having a resource like this and how it can benefit our community in the future.
Efforts are underway to create more permanent facilities like this one throughout the St. Louis region. Until then, your city or county government will have information about where and when you can safely dispose of your household chemicals.
There are a couple of challenges. We have such a terrific turnout at these events because St. Louis County residents are interested in doing the right thing and protecting the environment and public health. Yet a lot of the materials that we do see here can be reused or used up, and so that residents didn't have to bring it to our collection events. So we'd like folks to learn more about how they can practice what we like to call source reduction, where you buy just as much as you need for the job at hand, use it up entirely, or share leftovers with your friends and family members. The best way to handle household hazardous waste is to not create it in the first place.
Back in the lab with Dr. Detox for some tips on safe handling of hazardous products for the times you choose to use them.
Right. It is a matter of choice, Jean. Thanks for mentioning that. We can choose to use the products we've talked about, but most people also, hey, I want to reduce the risk, lower the toxicity in my home. But if you are going to use those more toxic products, let's look at the ways that they can come into your body. The first way is through breathing those toxic fumes, or what we call inhalation. The second way is through ingestion, eating or swallowing the materials. And the third way is dermal absorption, just going in through your skin. So let's take a look at some ways that we can stop things coming in through your skin, through your mouth, or breathing them in. And let's start with the skin and the eye protection. We have our safety glasses, gloves. Whenever you're using these products, sit down and take a look at how you can keep them from getting on your hands, on your arms. We've got nice long gloves here that are protecting us. And make sure that the gloves are the type that you need for the job being done. These ones that you and I have are to help repel solvents. So that's what they're there, and they're good for that. Some of them you got to be real careful. If they're too thin, when you're using the abrasives or whatever, it can cut into the material. The next thing we want to do, especially if you're wearing contacts, and neither you or I are wearing contacts, but if we were, we'd want to take them out before we put our goggles on, because you don't want to be wearing soft contact lenses when you're dealing with a lot of these chemicals. The last thing, we talked about breathing, and the way we deal with that, we can turn a fan on, and that'll pull the air out of the room, Jean.
Now
Feel?
this fan is not blowing on us, Marcus.
No, it's pulling the toxins, and ideally there'd be a window right here so that the air is being pulled from the room we're in and pushing it all outside to the outdoor air.
you know, we're kind of a here and now society. You know, we buy prepared foods and, you know, prepared cleaners, and
throw
falls
away
right
everything
into it.
else.
Yeah.
You know? Just the fact of having 4 children who have hopefully a lot more time on this planet than we do, that we can make our mark, or not make a mark rather, you know, just makes, you really start thinking about that when you have your kids. What are they going to be exposed to when they get older?
Commercial household products can make our lives easier, but the improper use, storage, and disposal of items like these can pose a hazard to our health and to the environment. It's really a matter of choice between toxic household products and safer alternatives. Choose to reduce the amount of hazardous chemicals in your environment. Recycle and reuse whenever you can, and take advantage of local hazardous waste collection events. Make the choice to detox your domicile.